Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Pacific Rails Inc. Pacific Rails Inc. is a game published by Vesuvius Media, designed by Dean Morris. Plays 2 to 4 players in 45 to 60 minutes. Yeah, right. And effectively what you're doing in this game is you are trying to build the Transcontinental Railroad. And you're doing that by sending out workers to the board to collect resources to build railroad track, so you can then use that railroad track to move across the map. It has some interesting worker placement pieces where you're going to go down next to an area, in between a couple areas, and the more people you have around that area, the stronger your action is. Or you can go into the center of the block, bring your workers home, get a cowboy hat, which is going to boost up a bonus and open up some spaces. Or you can just take a worker back, and then you still get to do the action of the space based on how many people were there when you took the action. So really cool. And then the train, you're trying to score you're trying to join cities to put out train stations and telegraphs to score points, because you want to score points, because that's how you win the game. So that's enough talking about it. Let's go on the table. Check it out. All right, so here's a game of Pacific Rails Inc. all set up for 2 players. So to set up, you're going to put out the board in the middle of the table here. Each player is going to get their own player board with all the bits of their color. So all these telegraphs, all these buildings. In a 2-player game, they're going to have 6 workers, and they're going to get one of each type of good. So wood, gunpowder, coin, and iron. And these are the Kickstarter bits, so that's why this stuff would sit there, but you're allowed to have 6, just know that. Then you put your scoring marker up here on 0, starting in reverse turn order. So in this case, that would be red. You're going to pick a space on the board, then yellow will go, then yellow will go, then red will go, 1 on each side of the board in the starting location, which looks like that. And then you're going to have 2 hats per person, 2 cowboy hats, so we have 4. We're going to have carriage upgrades based on the number of players. We're going to have 4 in-game goals, which we've done here. Then we're going to have the hats for the congressional lobby over here, and a certain number of specialists for each of the 4 types set up on the board for the player count. Then all the rest of the stuff can sit off to the side. So you're going to have 3 types of railroad track. You're going to have bridges, tunnels, and straight track, and all the necessary goods off to the side. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. This is a worker placement game. The way that the worker placement works in this is you're going to take a worker. You're either going to put it onto the board in one of these feet locations or on the building and take the action, or you're going to pull your worker off and take the action. So you're always going to be able to take an action whether you're putting someone down or taking them off. Now, the actions are pretty simple. There's the 4 corners are getting resources. So iron, gunpowder, wood, and coin, and each of these also have a special ability that you can take if you go there. The north, south, west, and east here are going to be specialist actions that are going to trigger people that are in your train, which we'll get to. And then in the middle, that's how we're going to hire specialists and lay track. And laying track is how we're going to score a lot of points and how that's ultimately going to end the game. The game will end when this side of the track meets that side of the track. Okay, so done. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So yellow is first. So they're going to go ahead and place their worker down. I think what they want to do is, let's see. Let's try to get some track. So we have wood and gunpowder and iron. Now let's get some resources first. Let's go get some iron. So they're going to come over here. Now they're going to take iron. There's a couple ways you're going to get iron. You're going to get 1 from going there, times however many people you have sitting there. So right now 1 times 1, plus any buildings that you would build here, which we'll get to hopefully. So that would be that plus any bonuses you have here. So I get 1 iron plus 1, so I would get 2 iron, and it goes into my train, and I now have 6, so I can't take any more goods. Now going to this location also gives me access to this at the same strength that I put my worker there. I can trade wood to put a house down on the map and score some points, and I'm going to do that. So let's do coin, and I'm going to go gunpowder. Go right there. And I'm going to get 2 points. I think it says 2. Too far away. Yeah, 2 points, I think. So we'll go there. All right, and that is yellow's turn. So now it's red's turn. They're going to do a similar thing. But I think what they're going to try to get is they're going to get some wood because that's where their bonus is. So they'll go here. And they're going to take 1 wood plus 1 wood, so 2 wood. That fills them up, 6 goods. And then they can spend gunpowder to get an upgrade to a carriage, which they don't have any, so they can't do that. All right, done. Back to yellow. So I have a lot of iron, so let's build. Let's build some straight track. So we're going to go here. And this is going to give me access to build straight track. So the way this works is I'm going to get a build 1 because I have 1 worker there. And it's going to take 1 steel to get 1 straight track. So I turn in the steel. I'm going to take 1 straight track. Now there's some curves on the back. It doesn't really matter. Just if there's a track, you're just trying to build a line. So you can make it look cool with the thing, but it doesn't really matter. Now the tricky thing with this is it's going to go into your train car and take up room for you to store goods. I still have 6, so I'm good. And that's all I can do. If I had any other carriages with specialists, they would also fire off, but I don't have any, and we'll get to one of those in a minute, so just bear with me. So that's yellow, so then it's red's turn again. They're going to have a lot of wood. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to build some bridges. Yeah, that'll work. So they're going to build a bridge right there. They're going to turn in 1 wood. It takes 1 wood to build a bridge. Bridges are the blue tiles because they're going over water. And that goes in there. They're still at 6, so they're good. No carriages, no other specialists, so they're done. Back to yellow. Yellow is... where am I? Yeah, I'm going to take a couple more tracks. So I'm going to go here. So now it's 2, so I can do it twice. So I have 2 iron. I'll use the 2 iron. And I'll get 2 straight track. And I now have 6 things, so I'm done. Back to red. Red has 1 bridge. And that's fine. They're going to actually build. So I want to show you how that works. So they're going to go here to this location. At this location, you can do specialist over there, or you can lay track. And I'm going to lay track. So you have to, the rules for laying track, and this is the most complicated part of the game. The rules for laying track is bridges have to go over water. Tunnels have to go over these hill areas. And straight track go over the grassy plains. Nothing can be built on mountains, and you can't build on cities. What you're trying to do is you're trying to build 2 cities to put down either a telegraph or a house to score some points. So red's going to do that. So they're going to go ahead and build their 1 bridge that they have right here. They're going to go here. That's going to give them 2 points for building that bridge. And they're going to put down a telegraph here, which will give them another 1 point. When you build a building, or when you make a route, you need to build a building or a telegraph there, and you score 2 points for the shortest route of what you built. All right, and that's their turn. They don't have any more tracks, so they can't build anything else, so they are done. All right, so let's see. It's yellow. I'm going to do that as well because I want to show you something else. So let's see. All right, so I'm going to build lay track as well, and I have a strength of 2. So what that means is they had to stop at 1 city. I'm able to keep going to a 2nd city because I have a power of 2. So I have 3 straight tracks, and I'm going to start building over this way. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. All right. So now in the rules, I'm not sure if I have to stop and score that first one or not, but I might be able to. I'm not 100% sure. So I think I get to do just this second one here. And I'm going to put down a telegraph. And I'm going to move my train. and that gets me 2 points, 4 points, because it's 2 to the shortest city, and then 1 for every other one. So I'll get 4 points. And 1 more point. Oh, took it from the wrong side. 1 more point for my telegraph. And that's my turn. All right, so sweet. So now it's back to red. And red is going to... They're going to come up here and they're going to use the... Oh, a couple things. This is I forget every time. When you build a station or a telegraph, actually a station, not a telegraph, you're going to get an upgrade your carriage. So let's say this player actually didn't do that. They did a building. So let's just do this. So they build a building instead. Get rid of a point. So what happens then is they're going to add to their train. Again, this will go behind, but for table space, I'm going to put it down here. Let's slide this up so you can see. So when you build this, when you get this for free, it comes with a free specialist of your choice. And I think I'm going to take the straight specialist here, straight track specialist, put them in there. And it's going to give me room to do 1 carriage upgrade, which I'll try to do that action coming up so you can see it. All right, so now it's red's turn. They're going to come up here still, and they're going to pay a coin, and they're going to lobby Congress. So they have an action of 1. With an action of 1, you can only do the 1 coin action, which are these first 4 here. And they're going to do... I can't see some of these. They're so far away, and I can't remember what they are. So let me look at it in here. My eyes are not good. Not good at all. Okay, it is place a house from your player board onto an empty building spot in a district. Or add a carriage upgrade. Okay, so I can do a carriage upgrade or a building. I don't want to do that. So let's just take, I'm going to do this one. That'll give me 2 iron. So they have 2 iron. All right, done. Back to yellow. Yellow is going to come over here. They're going to get 1 wood. That's it, 1 wood. And they're going to use this. They'll spend a gunpowder to do a carriage upgrade to level 1, and they will do, let's do money. They're going to take the money, and it goes right there. All right. Then they're going to score 2 points. Back to red. Red is going to need some track. So let's see. Let's do some straight track. So let's go. I'm going to go here. All right. So another place you can go to, which I didn't talk about, you can go in the middle. When you go in the middle, it boots out everybody. For everybody that's booted out, they get a cowboy hat. You can have 2 cowboy hats. You can spin a cowboy hat on your turn to basically act as if you have an extra player there. So this one will come back, and I'll get a cowboy hat. But it gives this player access to this building, and it's adjacent to this one, and this one for the sake of, you know, taking actions. So I'm going to do 1 action of straight. I'm actually going to spend a cowboy hat, and I want to do another one. So I'm going to spend 2 iron and do 2 straight tracks. Goes in here, 6 done. All right, then back to yellow. Yellow's going to have wood. What's wood going to get me? What kind of track does wood buy me? Bridges. Do I want bridges for yellow? Not really. So let's do... Man. I'm going to get some iron. I can't. Yeah, I'll go here. So yellow is going to get bumped out. Red's going to get bumped out. Red will get a hat. And they're going to get 1 iron, 2 iron. That's 5 goods. So, and they're done. Now it's red. Red is going to build some track. So they're going to come down here. And they have 2 actions worth. So they can go to 2 cities, but they only have enough track to go to 1. So they're going to go 1 and 2. So they get 4 points for doing that. And they're going to put down a house. They're going to get their first carriage. Let's slide this back. First carriage. And a free specialist. And they will take, let's take the financier. I like the financier. Boom. Done. All right, so that's effectively how the game is going to keep playing until the track from this side meets the track on that side. It doesn't matter who's built it. The track doesn't belong to anybody. You just want to get over there. Now, if you use track, because you can use other people's track to build, and you go through their building, they're going to score some points. I'm not going to show that because it's going to take a minute. And so that's that. Then at the end of the game, you're going to score points for a few things. You're going to score points for whoever finishes the route, plays the last piece of track, gets 15 points. Then you're going to get 1 point for each track tile in your cargo. So if I had 3 tracks, I get 3 points. Then you're going to score here. So you're going to look on the board and you're going to see how many telegraph plus buildings you have out here, and you score points. So if this is the way the game ended, terrible. It's not going to end, but you know, this player would get 2, so they would get 4 points. That player has 1, they would get 2 points, that kind of thing. Then you're going to score these goals here. So you want to look who has the most wood, who has the most coins, who has the most telegraphs on the board, or buildings, and who has the most telegraphs. And then, after all that is done, the game is over. Whoever has the most points winner is the winner. But if there's a tie, whoever has the most buildings up in this district is the winner. If there's still a tie, the player with the most railway stations, so buildings down here, is the winner. If there's still a tie, shared victory. Good job. So that's a quick tutorial or playthrough of a couple rounds of this. You didn't get to see it all. I didn't explain all the rules. So I just kind of wanted to show you how the game works, what it looks like, to see if this would be something that you're into. So that is Pacific Rails Inc. Let's go up the top, see what we think about it. All right, well, that was Pacific Rails Inc. So first thing I want to talk about is the production of this one. So I have the deluxe version that we backed on Kickstarter, and it came with some cool, not necessary stuff. So instead of just sitting stuff on the top of your board, like I showed in the overview, I used this. You can just throw stuff in there. The only issue is you got to remember how many things you're allowed to hold. So you're going to have to keep looking and make sure you don't have more than you're allowed to carry. Also has these really fantastic resources. So here's the gunpowder, which is a cool barrel. Metal coins. They're just all value 1, but they're really nice. The wood, which I think is like Meeple source wood. I don't know. It looks really cool though. And then the iron is this cool iron bar I really dig. And we also, I don't know if this is in all the versions, I don't think so. We also have these cool telegraph lines that are plastic, and we have houses that kind of look like just basic houses, but they're plastic. I think they're tokens in the original. I know that because I still have the tokens in there. So those are cool components. I like the art on the board. Another thing that is kind of weird to me, so this is a tunnel tile. On the back, there's just regular tunnel, so you can go through straight. But there's also like curves. But the thing is, when you're building stuff on the map, it doesn't matter if the track actually goes to something or it doesn't, if it goes directly to the city, because you just have to be adjacent to the city for the city to be connected. So while it's nice to have the actual curve so you can actually build to the city if you want to, it's not necessary. You can just use the straight pieces. As long as you're using the appropriate kind of straight pieces, that's all that matters. So it's a nice touch, but not necessary. So let's talk about gameplay. Before we get into the gameplay, let's talk about the rule book of this game. So the rule book of this game is huge. It's like 22 pages. Has 4 pages of rules for examples on scoring, and I still didn't understand how the scoring worked. I had to message the company, said, hey, I don't understand scoring. Can you break it down for me? They sent me some clarification and kind of filled me in. I also didn't understand how to use the hats, because when they talk about hats at the front, it's not mentioned again till the back of the rule book. So I kind of missed that. They explained that. And then I didn't understand, the worker placement piece, if you take stuff off or put it down. It didn't say you could take stuff off. I missed that. And it also doesn't really clarify, if I put a specialist in my 1, 2, or 3 on my train, I can do that many times. Maybe it does. Again, it's laid out poorly. The rule book is bad at best, terrible at worst, and I might have missed it. So if I put a specialist in the 3 carriage of my train, I can do that action 3 times. But it also, when you go to that space, and I go to the financier space on the board, my worker that I send there gets to do that action times the amount, so like normal. But then every other specialist on my train functions, like activates, and that just seems like the engine amps up. Like you go from nothing to having, like you go to one space and you can do like 14 things. You go from one worker to activating a whole pile of stuff. You have so many goods, you can't store them all. It just seems like you should only be able to activate the worker that you go and visit, but that's not how it works, and it's not laid out that way. I didn't know about the 1, 2, and 3 value and all that kind of thing. It's weird. The rulebook is terrible. Terrible. Now, all that being said, once I learned how the game played, understood some of the clunkiness of the rules, kind of understand scoring. I probably still don't even understand scoring all the way. The game is not bad. Like, I think what you saw in the playthrough is mostly correct. The scoring's probably wrong. And then when I took the double action and bypassed one of the cities to go to the other one, that's probably wrong. Because again, the rulebook doesn't clearly specify what all needs to go down. So, had this rulebook been good, had this the game been more intuitive and easier to play, scoring make more sense, this would have had a super high score for me because I like the game. Even with the terrible rulebook, we fumbled through a 2-player game in a couple hours. I like it. I think I know what we're doing, and it's good. So I'd still give this a 7. So it's going to get the seal later. But had this had a good rulebook, it would probably get a 9. It would probably get higher than that. But as it is, it barely squeaked out a 7. So I will give this a BGM Accept the Seal 7 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 3.5 out of 5 wrenches on our arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing. But we like to give it the games that we enjoy, and that's what I'm going to do. So that is Pacific Rails Inc. from Vesuvius Media. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming. And for the love of God, make your rulebook clear. That is all.